Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, channel that brings you your team every single day. Well, guys, everything I'm about to say in this video, everything I'm about to talk about in this video, in terms of tonight's game and the unacceptable dross that Rangers have just put out on that field in Limassol tonight, and I really feel for those travelling fans tonight. I hope the club have the decency to refund the hotel prices and also the airfares that those loyal fans have paid to get out there to watch that dross. Everything that I say does not in any way, shape, or form reflect on this man here. Stephen Davis is not to blame for any of this. He has had no time to work with the team. He has virtually no squad to pick from. He has had no chance to implement anything of his own ideas into this team. He's had such a limited time to work with the players. He had literally time to do, I think, one session and pick a team. That is it. So, Stephen Davis, none of this reflects on you. You are a Rangers legend. You always will be a Rangers legend, and I will never blame you for any of this. But those players cheated you tonight. They absolutely cheated you tonight, and they are a disgrace, with the exception of Abdallah Sima and Jack Butland. Abdallah Sima, for me, looked like the only player out there who gave a toss, who actually cared, who actually wanted to be out there, who wanted to try. Scored his sixth goal of the season, our top scorer this season. Absolutely, he worked really hard. I'm not saying he was brilliant. I'm not saying he was fantastic, but he worked, he tried, he battled, he ran, he got a good goal. He had an awful lot of work to do from that Lundstrom cross. He's still 10 or 11 yards out when he gets the ball, heads it past the keeper, does everything right, heads it back and across the keeper and into the bottom corner. A fantastic finish from Abdallah Sima. So Abdallah Sima, again, I think he is very much not to blame. And young Ross McCausland, well done, came on and I think did more in the time that he was on than Dessers, Lammers and Wright did in the entire time that they were on. He certainly did more than Cyril Dessers. Cyril Dessers is an absolute joke. He is one of the worst players I have ever seen in a Rangers shirt. He makes Sibo, he makes Solenko look world class. That's how bad he is. But Ross McCausland, well done, young man, making for playing tonight, trying and doing more and showing more passion than the entire front three did in the rest of the game. It was an utterly miserable performance tonight from Rangers. First half, we could not string passes together. We looked poor. It was slow. It was deficient. It just did not look at all good at all. And, you know, one thing we've got to reflect on, Aris Limassol are not a good team. They are not a good team. It was like they are a Scottish Championship team at best. And the amount of chances they actually created and the opportunities they created, and if they'd been able to play a final ball, they could have been out of sight by the time Seamer scored that goal and brought us back into the game and gave us false hope and made it 2-1. He really could have been all over at that point. You know, if we play like that against St Mirren on Sunday, we're going to get our arses handed to us. If we played like that against that lot from across the city, I dread to think what would actually happen. But you know, what seems rich and yeah, I know it's funny what the Champions League last night and that remark from John Hartson, I think his arm was offside, hilarious. But I really don't think at this moment in time we're in any position to comment, given that absolute dross that we saw tonight. Just appalling. I mean, I was watching the game. I couldn't do a live stream tonight because I've got family commitments tonight. But I was watching the game and I was flicking through Twitter at the same time, or X or whatever it's called. I mean, even Heart and Hand are raging and calling out players. Heart and Hand, these are club partners. David Edgar, club partner. Heart and Hand saying this back four can get to fuck. I mean, that tells you how badly this has slipped. I mean, this was the back four tonight. James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, Ben Davis and Borna Barisic. All four of them were an absolute joke. They were useless, absolutely useless. James Tavernier is not a captain. I'm sorry. Yes, he is very good going forward. Yes, he is very good at crossing the ball, kind of. Yes, he has good numbers, unbelievable numbers for a right back in terms of assists and goals scored. But he is not a leader of men on the pitch. You don't see him organising, yelling, shouting, inspiring. A captain is someone who brings a team together when they need it. A captain is someone who knocks heads together when they need it. A captain is someone who organises and shouts. And he just doesn't do it. He is not a captain. And I know I'm going to get absolute pelters for saying this because they're the James Tavernier Nazi party that are out there that hate any sort of criticism of James Tavernier. Sorry, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying that he is not a captain. Now, this back four have been together. Take out Ben Davies, who I didn't think had a great game tonight either, but take out the 3 and 4 of these back four have been here since time immemorial. How the hell are they still here? They're getting older and they're not going to get any better. The older you get, the more pace you lose, and they didn't have the pace to lose in the first place. For me, substantial changes need to be made at the back. Do we have the personnel to do it at the moment? John Souttar, possibly. Dujon Sterling, possibly. But some changes need to be made because these four are not cutting the mustard, people. They are failing this team. Jack Butland, thank God for Jack Butland. Pulled off another couple of brilliant saves tonight. You know, Jack Butland must be thinking, what the hell have I come to? You know, he must be thinking, roll on January so I can get away from here, because he looked scunnered. He looked absolutely fed up. And I don't blame him. With this back four, I do not blame him. And the man is out there doing his noggin, yelling, shouting, bawling at them, and for nothing, because they just are not capable. The performance tonight, I thought John Lundstrom was absolutely abject tonight, to blame for that second goal. He was appalling tonight. You know, the midfield was overrun. Raskin didn't look fit. So, you know, I'm not going to criticise Raskin too heavily. I think he was rushed back because more out of need than necessity. So, you know, I don't think, you know, he deserves as much criticism as the others. But look, they just weren't up to it tonight. And can we just reflect on the fact that these two players here cost us around £7.5 million? They look absolutely garbage. Cyril Dessers, offside. Yes, I know he scored a goal, but he was offside again. Did he learn Did he learn from Fashion Sakala the offside rule? I mean, I don't understand how Michael Beale could think that this man was a better option than Antonio Cholak, or even an unfit Alfredo Morelos. Cyril Dessers should never wear a Rangers shirt ever again. He is shite, complete and utter rubbish. He just is one of the worst players I have ever seen since I started watching this team back in 86, 87. And we've seen some poor players, you know, in that time. He is one of the worst I have ever seen. And Lammers, I'm fed up of hearing there's a footballer in there. He looked appalling tonight. He looked absolutely shocking tonight. This is just a debacle again. And whoever the next manager is, whoever comes in and takes over as the permanent manager, has got to be a frigging magician, because he's going to have to work miracles with this team. He really is. And for me, the players are just not up to it, with the exception of Butland and Seamer tonight and McCausland. But the players let down the fans. They let down the club again. They don't seem to realise what they have to do to play for Rangers. They just seem to lack any confidence, any talent, any ability to play football. And it's going to be a long old season if someone can't come in and sort this out, because this is shocking, guys. I was embarrassed by that tonight. Aris Limassol, let's get this right, are not a good team. You watch them tonight. If they had been a good team, they could have easily put 4, 5, 6 past us, or at least had a chance to. I suppose you would have to get them past Jack Butland first, who is a very talented keeper. But tonight's performance was an embarrassment by this team. It was a shocking, awful embarrassment, and was totally and utterly unacceptable. There's a lot of players that need to sit and have a long, hard look at themselves tonight, because that was not acceptable for a Rangers player or a Rangers squad tonight. Like I said, with the exception of Stephen Davis, the exception of Jack Butland, the exception of Abdallah Seamer and Ross McCausland, the rest of them need to hang their heads in shame at tonight's performance. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of the game tonight in the comments. And remember, always 2 things I need you to do for me. Number 1, smash the like. And number 2, remember, we are the people.